When he learned I'm a poet, he asked if I knew this other poet. We don't all know each other. I told him after he informed me she likes cheese similes. Love is like cheese. Time is like cheese. Cheese is surprisingly like cheese. Then I said, I know this poet, and he went, see? He went, see means he said, see, but you know that if you're American and alive. I explained that I know this poet means I know her work. When he was like, work? When he was like is like he went, which is past tense of he goes, in case you're from another country and confused by our lack of roundabouts. But poetry isn't work, he said, unless you're talking about reading it. But I'm not talking about reading it, I went. In a moment, that was the future past of everything I'd do from then on, such as snag the last of the hyacinth cookies and step onto the veranda to be awed by stars. Where I went, it's hard work to be awed by stars. They're just little lights about which we learn a song as children. And he was like, but I do wonder what they are, as both of us lifted our heads like birds, waiting for our mother to throw up in our mouths. When I shared the image, he was like, gross. But then he went, you're right, that's what we do. We expect the sky to feed us. This led to a long discussion about yearning, in which the word yearning never appeared, in which he went and I went and he was like and I was like, and the stars kept doing what the song says they do, because burn your hydrogen, little star doesn't fit in the diatonic harmony that pivots on an opposition between tonic and dominant in a tune derived from vous dérangez, maman. Then a woman came out wearing a red dress, the size of a whisper, lit a smoke, and the smoke's smoke acted all floaty and sexy and better than us, and she was like, want one? And we were like, yes. I love oh my God. Okay, so then I'm going to read two of my other poems, and they're from my thesis, which takes place in Western Illinois, which is where I'm from. And I guess the reason I pick these is because they have two people in them, so kind of friendship, I guess. People colliding, and there's car wrecks. Okay, so this is, how many of you have ever changed brakes on your car before? Have you ever changed the brakes on your car before? So if you do it, right, when you take the pads off, okay, all you have is the caliper and the piston, and if you're an idiot, you'll go into your car and push on the brakes, and that'll shoot the piston out of the damn caliper, and you just turned a half-an-hour job into like a 5-hour job, okay? So this is called 1 hour, or 1 evening fixing brakes. With the caliper propped up on cinder blocks, I watched the farmer's daughter practicing a pirouette in the front yard, her bell skirt swinging oblong in each turn. Call it carelessness, but whenever I climb into a cab, I instinctively put my foot to the pedal, which, at this moment, causes the piston to discharge and blaze like a comet arcing across the driveway where it fizzles. She holds the greasy part in her hands like an old dumbbell and sings to me, you know my father's going to be pissed. Futilely, I wipe my fingernails. What is it about corn? The way light settles up in stalks behind her, the way they grow patiently beside their neighbors, leveling everything, that makes you want to take a rusty scythe to it. In a place this flat, a place where if you slip, you might keep slipping down Main Street, past the Walmart and Target as people walk the aisles buying time, past the bank with its new wing made of bricks, till soon enough you're on your back in Nebraska, asking for a wall or rock or bend, but instead you get Dakotas, the Corn Palace, and fracked gas fields, places where thousands of crows land like a flock of oil, pilfering the seeds along the highways, places you could fall asleep at at the wheel, your kids lolling to a movie in the back, and never worry about crashing again. And this last poem is called Console, which, if you see the word console written on the page, it's also console. So yeah, console. The flask stowed in a hole between seats, a hole. These cavities that blood has wormed into. In a car smashed at the head of a hairpin, the hairpin, a foggy nowhere, like a hyphen, as when he calls into the night, into the hayfield beyond a tree full of silence, when restless, his passenger doesn't. When his skull balloons with reckless blood pushing at the backs of each eye, bearing him from car to dream, the dream of dandelions, of wild weeds growing up in cracks of sidewalks, of hating sidewalks, their dinners of warm sunlight, the drawn boredom of cul-de-sacs, a flower bud unfolding into a clock of light fluff, and one seed floating toward the desert on chill breath. Broken glass in his lap, a cold hand in shards, another calling into the field, a way to let heart kiss the muscle goodbye. Drift, to say I'm sorry and thank God all at once.